Welcome to the HTML tutorial. So in this, I think this should be the last video. What I just wanted to show you were just a few more tags in the head area that you would need to implement in your HTML page. I showed you most of the important tags, H1, H2, and so on, and div and span and main, and there's a ton of tags, and these are the bulk of what you'll be using. You can Google search and find all of the tags, but it's not that useful to do that because there's just a ton. I want to focus you on the ones that are most important. In the coming videos, we're going to do more tutorials on how to style these tags. But before we go on, I want you to know about a few more important things that will come in next steps. So, and a lot of it will have to do with this head area. In this head area, I talked in the last video about having the title, and the title is going to be what displays here. The description is going to be what, describes the page, and Google will most likely, use that, the title and description, to figure out what your page is about, although they do scan the page as well. So title and meta is very important. Now, there's two other very important meta tags. One is, and you should go right at the top above the title, is the character set. Without going into too much details, it's just the UTF-8 is a specific character set, and it makes sure that the page reads the characters in the right way. So you want to make sure you're always using this. So that's just a default. Again, it's a declaration. You just want to put it there at every HTML page when you're coding. So character set would have to be UTF-8. That's another meta tag, should be at the top. The other important meta tag that definitely must be in every page is this viewport, and this tag relates to responsive. So what is responsive websites are when you code them and there's different breakpoints and things change depending on if it's on mobile or desktop. Now this tag is important because if you don't have this tag, the content is not going to be fitting the device. It's going to be expanded beyond what the device is capable of showing. So you want to make sure you use this tag, which restricts the content according to the device. Now, this tag does not create responsive code for you. It just scales the content to fit the device. But you will be coding the exact, you will be coding exactly what should scale and how it should scale. But this is just critical to have so that it knows to do that. So it's, again, it's viewport. You can just copy and paste. You can just Google search this anywhere as just meta tag viewport, and it's usually just width equals device width. It's just scaling the content to stay one-to-one to the device that you're using. The next thing is that in the head tag is where you're going to put Google Analytics code usually, or Facebook pixel code, things like that. There'll be like scripts, certain scripts, style sheets. The other important tag is style. And you could put, this is where you put CSS. However, we will not be using that because most people will not be using that. You'll be putting your style in a separate style sheet, and you'll be importing that sheet into the HTML page so it knows the styles. So we'll be deleting this, and what you're going to be doing is using the link tag, and that is link with the attribute relative and href. So this is a style sheet. A style sheet is the CSS file, which ends in .css. That's where you're going to be storing all of your CSS. So href is the where you're going to be importing the file. So if you have it, say, stored in a CSS styles.css, whatever you name your file, whatever directory it's stored in, I usually just put in a CSS folder in the root of the domain, and I usually name my style sheet styles.css. It has all my styles. Now that's it. That's very important because that's going to link all this. It's going to import all the styles in a separate sheet, and you definitely want to have it in a separate file because you're going to have a ton of CSS that interacts with all of this content, that manipulates it and makes it look a certain way. So you want to keep it separately so you don't get confused. So these are, again, I just wanted to go over these head tags. These are critical. Now, if you take this is pretty much, if you delete all this stuff, this is a great kind of boilerplate to have saved so that you can always use whenever you're creating a new new site or new project. You don't have to retype this because this is the default stuff. I would say without this content, This is just stuff I use for the tutorial. But all this in the head tag, you can just change this. This doesn't change. The style sheet will link to styles, and this is your body tag, and that's where you start coding. But I'm going to leave this for future reference. So that's the video, and that's mostly all that you need to know for the most part about HTML. If you want to start making websites, go on to the next videos because I want to start reviewing with you CSS. And I'm going to be using some of this content. I want to do a little tutorial on you for CSS and show you how you can use CSS to style web pages. I'll see you guys in the next video.